Bill Walsh is with me right now from Third Mutual. And Bill, welcome. You have really a lot to talk about today.
Yeah, thank you for having me and letting the third directors come and talk.
Of course.
In the community. I don't know how many people out there saw the What's Up blast that came out through the email on Friday, but it notified the residents in the community that last Tuesday in a closed session, the Third Mutual Board decided to suspend, asked staff to suspend the use of Roundup in Third Mutual.
Right.
And in the conversation, Brad Hudson said they're going to do a lot of use of string trimmers. And one of the problems that has arisen is they've been edging with Roundup in a lot of places. And I didn't know this, that the landscaping has been slowly converting the grass mixture to kikuyu or kikuyu, kikuyu, and it sends out runners.
Right.
And it rhizomes under the ground, what they call stolons on top of the ground. Well, if you put Roundup on it, it just runs right back up, and so you don't even get a clean edge. So they're going to start using a lot of string trimmers. And the nice thing too is that's happening is that Bruce Hartley's gone and is doing research on this. I think United decided to wait until he came back with some recommendations in December on the subject. And he's gone to Irvine. They've gone to almost totally, I don't know what you would call it. You could, I guess, say organic, you can't say organic because it's all organic, but non-toxic or non-carcinogenic pesticides and herbicides. At least they're trying. A lot of times these herbicides and pesticides, you don't know they're carcinogenic for 50 years.
Well, that's true.
And that's a problem. But right now there's so much, the lawsuit with Monsanto over Roundup and stuff. So the board decided it was in the best interest of the community to suspend that.
And I know that, I know that's with Third, but I wasn't quite sure. I know both GRF and United are looking at this too. Now, I don't know, did they suspend those? Do you know for sure?
I can't. Okay. And if I were to give you an answer, I don't know.
Okay, because I know in United they're doing some tests in cul-de-sacs and things.
Right.
Yeah.
So yes, and I think I think staff's going about it in a very logical approach to it. So.
And I have kikuyu grass at my house, and I know what you're talking about. There are times I'll pull up a little clump that got into maybe where the flowers are, and quite literally it's like pulling a zip cord. You'll go to pull it out, and I think the longest one I've ever had was 5 feet long, and I'm not exaggerating. Wow. And it was only 5 feet long because by the time you pull it out, it snaps off. Right. But I've been told by a couple landscapers that I guess you would call the tap roots can go down 15 feet. So and I think it's hard to get rid of it. Yeah. And I think that the other benefit to the kikuyu is the fact that it's drought tolerant. Well, drought tolerant than a lot. So that's the other reason that they're going to it. So yes. All right. The next thing, address signs. Yes, the address signs, and we got some photos on this. Okay. This has been going on. Previous board members, Bert Moldow started looking at it, along with the Garden Villa people. They're big buildings; people can't find them during the daytime. Yeah. And if you look on it's not there on the screen, you can see that's one of the new signs. And I drove around at night. And they are very reflective in the headlights of your car. Okay. And that's one of the big issues that we're trying to overcome. Residents are coming to us and asking, when is our building going to get one of these signs? You can see maybe in this picture, you can see there are two signs, 2237, but you can see the small sign just around the corner of the big sign. And the difference is dramatic. Right. And so residents are really excited about this, particularly at daytime. The nighttime issues are when you've got emergency vehicles and stuff. Yeah. We want to make sure that they can find the cul-de-sac as well as the building. And so we're doing a pilot on all of this.
so people can have a look. And I think I sent a picture over.
Yeah, I think we have like photos of the next couple are,
right.
I don't know if they're actually out there or they're mock-ups. Are those out there yet? Or
they're out there.
Okay, I wasn't sure if that was photoshopped in to give an example. Okay.
So you've got the cul-de-sac number and the addresses on this.
Okay.
And there are varying opinions. Again, I want to reiterate, this is a pilot. And so some people are not going to like this. I've already heard from a couple of people say, can't we do something a little, that's pretty big. You know? But I'll tell you, at night when you're driving up to it, you can really see it. So, and so we're experimenting, we're looking, and on the big 3-story buildings, those black signs with the white lettering, with right numbering on them, are already up over in gate 14. We put a pilot up in there too, and people are very happy with those. It's a lot, for sure, during the daytime, it's a lot easier to. When the signs are on the big 3-story buildings at night, unless you get lucky and your car light hits it. So we have to deal with that issue.
Okay, so we'll see how that moves along. And I think the two things that are always have been kind of looked at in this community consistently are the lighting and the signs. Yeah.
And you're probably during the pilot, they're going to see different styles, and we've even talked about getting somebody to come in where there are curbs. And I don't remember when you were a kid or not, but when I was a kid, they used to, once a year, they would come through and put addresses on the curbs.
Like usually it was the Boy Scouts or
That's
something.
right, the Boy Scouts or something. So we're looking at all our options on this.
Okay. All right, and now moving on from there, is I'm kind of looking at your list and my list that you gave me.
Okay.
And it's solar production, right? Do I have my list right?
Right, right, you do. We finally got a year's worth of data on the production of the 12 solar installations in the community in Third Mutual. And we produced enough electricity from those solar installations to is equivalent to about $250,000 worth of electricity that we produced, which is really quite good, and we're really happy about that. So our payback's going to be probably between 10 and 11 years, and these solar panels will last 30 at a minimum, and so there's going to be a lot of a lot of benefit to the community. And so it helps us. It helps our budget too when we're budgeting every year for our electricity use. So it was really exciting to see that we were having. That this has been a pretty successful project.
Yeah, it has been, and it was long working hours to get this going, and a lot of different things you had to do, and it was sometimes a little delayed by Southern California Edison, but now it's looking good.
Got a good memory.
Yeah.
You've heard me talk about it
enough. Yes, I know. All right, and what kind of goes along with that is the Village Energy Task Force.
Right.
And first explain that, because people have heard United and GRF. This is really bringing everyone together for a common goal, and that's why it's called a task force, right?
That's right, Ken. Staff was having to produce agendas and meeting minutes and time in meetings for each of GRF, Third Mutual, and United, and they kind of came to us and said, is there a way we can just combine these? And so through a lot of discussion, saying what can you do or what can't you do, we put together a charter for the Village Energy Task Force, and we settled on the wording in that charter. We've got a charter, and we're going ahead. And one of the things that I put down here that we're going ahead with is that each of the corporations, United, GRF, and Third, literally put a contingency fund together in each of the mutuals, about $50,000 each. And we went out and interviewed a number of energy consultants, and we chose one that's local here. And we have just sent them some specifications for the things that we want them to come back to us with an analysis. And for Third Mutual, our biggest issue right now are the carports, the electricity in the carports and the garages.
Right.
Because more and more people we have a lot of electric golf carts, but now people are coming in with either electric hybrid cars or electric cars.
Yeah.
And they're plugging in and they're popping the circuits.
Yeah.
And so it is obvious that this is a 1960s and 70s electrical infrastructure, and we've asked them to go out and look at it, determine what our capacities are, what alternatives we might have, reasonably priced alternatives that we might have to address these issues. And so we hopefully they're going to come back with some proposals here in a probably by November.
Okay.
And then we will look at the proposals and then direct them to go forward and do the analysis. So
okay. So this way, at least everyone will have sort of a roadmap of what is really needed to look at the immediate time, but more importantly, as the future comes along and people get more and more electric vehicles, and this is going to be needed, so to prepare for it in advance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And just one side note, GRF's United in third, because they're housing mutuals, we have carports and garages.
Yeah.
With GRF, they're looking at microgrids, and so we'll see how that goes.
Okay.
We're, I won't talk too much about GRF, but I mean, we're all in the same meeting. They're wondering what they're going to do with the capacity with these diesel generators that are emergency backup for buildings like this, and how much capacity you need. And so there's going to be a lot of discussion. Should we stay with diesel as in an emergency? If we have an earthquake that knocks out the electric grid. So they're looking at that. So it's going to be exciting.
All right, very good. Now let's move on to the fencing, meaning primarily around Ridge Route, but the Shepherd's Crook that you folks are looking at. And I know one of the issues with that was there, some parts of the fence, the wall, I should say, is already at 5 or 6 feet, but there's some areas that are just at 3 feet, mainly because from the outside of Ridge Route, people start to, you have the embankment go up and a lot of brush, and the wall is actually short from the outside of the community.
That's right, and security people from the police department to our own security couldn't see through the brush that was around that wall. So we were getting homeless people camping in there, and then they could easily come over the wall.
Yeah.
And so we hired a company to clear all this brush out that you see on your TV. They took it up to about 5 feet. And so now you can look in there. I've driven by there, and it's really pretty well cleaned out. The canopy's been raised.
Yeah.
And that's 2,700 feet of wall there that we're going to put Shepherd's Crook on.
Wow.
We started out with that project to think that we could get it up to 5 or 6 feet, and we finally decided that getting it to 7 feet was probably going to be the appropriate way to do it. We just got some proposals for bids, and at the closed session on Tuesday, we told staff to go out and work on a contract with these with one of these bids. So I think that the brush clearing in that area, both on inside the wall and on the outside, is pretty well done.
Yeah.
And now it's a matter of getting a contractor hired and coming here to put the Shepherd's Crook in place. So
all right. So at this point, until you get the contractor hired, you can't really give a time frame yet.
That's right.
Yeah.
We don't know how that's. The other part of this, the same company that did that brush clearing, we hired to clear out. The Orange County Fire Authority wants us to reduce the amount of fuel along our walls from the right where we have the wilderness area.
Right.
So from Bahia Blanca west, from the Clubhouse 5, I'll say Clubhouse, all the way down to gate 11, they're going to be clearing brush and cutting down a lot of plantings that we have inside the wall. Not cutting, and when I say cutting them down, not taking them out, but bringing down the amount of foliage that's in there that could be, in a fire, could be a danger. So they're clearing, they're going to be working on that, clearing that out.
All right, and finally, what I kind of talked about briefly earlier, the ever ongoing exterior lighting, street and walkway lighting that has been looked at for a long time.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's coming close now. In September, we anticipate that Edison will come back to us after they've done an inventory again of their lights. Okay. And present us, here's what you're going to buy. And at that point, we'll probably write them a check and say, we are going to take ownership of your light poles. They're going to become Third Mutual's light poles. And just so people understand why we're doing that, that gives us control over putting arms, fixtures on lights to get more light out over the street. It also allows us to go to LED lighting, which is not only more efficient, but if it's done right, and we hope the Siemens Corporation is going to be advising on this, it gives us the best lighting for the community. Now, we don't want to put so much light out there that it's going in people's bedroom windows and not letting them sleep, but we've got to get it, we've got to get it right on the streets. And we are also going to be looking at clearing away trees that are along. There's a number of trees that have grown over the light poles, so we're going to try to deal with that. And
all right.
So there's a whole lot of issues there. But and the reason that motivated us to go this way was because Edison was going to charge us an arm and a leg to do the same thing that we're going to do. So, and then they were, it was a 20-year contract. They were going to charge us. They were going to increase our rates, and we said, hold it. We can do this cheaper and better.
Yeah.
Because instead of giving it all control to them, now Siemens is going to come in and say, here's a pilot.
Yeah.
Go look at it. Does it work? Okay.
Very good. All right, a lot going on. Anything else you'd like to add for today?
No, and anybody that lives in gate 5 and 6, they're seeing 3-foot bollards, walkway light bollards going in, and hopefully it's throwing a little more light. It's not the total solution. We're basically, there are some dark areas that the people that developed Laguna Woods didn't decide to put more lighting along the walkways, so that's just going to be a long-term project.
All right.
That's it.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
You take care of yourself.
I will do.
All right, and we'll be right back.